Maybe not that one. Do I have a miscounter here? Not really. I'll play around it then. Not that one. Okay. Whoop. These aren't ranked 5, 6 stars, are they? Welcome, D-Block. Because I think they're actually gaining less power than I'm used to, which literally just threw me off with Penny's rotation. Welcome, Navi. Hey, Nartic, how's it going, dude? Thanks, I'm glad to hear you say that. We're pretty happy with him. And I'm glad people are picking up on him. I was just talking to Bitter earlier today, actually, about the early reception. Obviously, no videos out, so like this is very early, right? But both of us were a little bit worried that people might think he was too complicated. And that wasn't going to change what we did, right? Because both of us are longtime veterans who enjoy that kind of character. But yeah, we were slightly worried that people would just bounce off him a little more than they have so far. Sorry to hear that, Arctic. I was in the top 150 on my main the last time I looked, but I don't know if I still am. I have to keep an eye on it. We'll have to see on Goblin. I think people are rushing to conclusions, which, you know, of course, this community never does. And then in the rare event that the community jumps to conclusions early, they always, you know, go, oops, my bad, I was totally wrong, and then adjust. So I'm sure we have nothing to worry about. Sarcasm aside, we'll see. Yeah, I get that. It can be tough too. Yeah. Like, I know that I can definitely go, like, probably up another couple blocks in Mystic once I've done some rank 4s, but for now, I'm stuck. Yeah. No, I get you, Nabi, and I appreciate the restraint. I don't know if Goblin stood up quickly, or if Skull recovered slowly, or if I was just slow. Let's see what this does. Yep, that's enough. Yeah. I'm sure you'll catch up a bit later then. That makes sense. Okay, this one I can definitely back out for. Nice. If you're that high, then I'm probably not top 200 anymore, and that stinks. I was 130 the other day. Well, that's a bummer. I'm gonna have to see if there's anything I can do, but maybe I'm just missing out on the Radiance this time. That's impressive. Yeah, that's cool. I don't think I've tried him punching up that much yet. Jerk. Nah, that's what I get for reading chat while I'm playing. Hey, Jude. Oh, right, physical resistance. Dang. All right, first loss on this account. I mean, this is also what I get for, like, having ranked almost no one and not having recoil mastery, so it is what it is. I wouldn't turn on recoils on this account even if I could, because I don't think I can afford to change back. Sorry, Jude, not a whole lot of tips on that. Other than try to write it out. Hey, Floyd, how's it going, dude? That's fine. That's my fault for being slow. That'll do. This account is so top heavy. Should I imagine there are a number in that place? Nice, dude. Glad. I'm looking forward to being up in Vancouver next week. Mm. I mean, I'm definitely spending it on him. I think I'm at 49 in the other Vancouver. Nice. I've been there once or twice. I think just driving through though. Hey, King, welcome. It's so weird on this account, like, literally having duplicates in the same tower block, clearing fights with 6-star and 7-star Howard. And I did the same thing with Mojo in the other one. Because I did some Mystic fights before I started streaming here. Very close to not having to do this one. That's okay. We need 14 more fights regardless. Penny's such an interesting character when it comes to content like this because she has such a strict loop with the way her special 2 works. And it's like it doesn't really matter how at an advantage you are. You need to throw the special 1 first. Because the special 2 will just do nothing. That's sweet. She's fun. I've always liked her. It's funny, on my main account, when I skip a floor, or when I skip a block, it's basically always because it's a really huge block where I don't want to do like 30 fights. On this account, I think the blocks that I just skipped were probably the small ones. Because 7 stars are so overpowered for what it's asking of me at the moment. Kind of neat. Okay. I'm only going through these objectives for the moment because they're about to expire. So we're going to move to another class now. You know what I just realized? There's a real chance that some of these fights, like that War Machine one in the last tower, have actually felt harder on this account. Specifically because I haven't leveled the champions. Whoops, that hurt. Oh my god. Yeah. I'm feeling like I'm past 88 in all of mine, but I feel you on the 35. It feels like that's kind of the deficit that defines a lot of places. Like, or a lot of the rankings. Like, yeah, it's dramatic as heck when you can get somebody to punch up 40 and, like, cool. But I think what defines the rankings is who can you get to punch up 35? Whoops. Saw that going a little differently in my head. My options now are Warlock and Arcade. Arcade can be really good if you get the right animations, but otherwise he's very mediocre, unfortunately. Warlock really wants the opponent to have regen to be special. Jerk. Oops, this was a bad matchup. This is gonna take a minute. Whoop! Tried to punish there, nothing happened. Alright. Yeah, and 40 is just plain brutal. Even with nukes like those two. Moondragon's so fun. Yeah, I was too far away. Or too close. Hey, Andrew, welcome. I wonder if I'm actually going to run into some problems here. Also, should not have fought Karnak. He gets True Strike. This was dumb. Yep, there it is. I was actually going to try and push him to Special too, but no! Alright, well, to avoid losing those, we gotta do this. Nope, that was dumb. Why did I do that? Come here. That'll be fine. Thanks, Jack. I'm not entirely sure what that's aimed at, Hal, but thank you. Almost nothing in this account is actually ranked up, which is why I'm laughing. He's probably a rank 1, level 1 Killmonger. I don't think I owned it before I... Yeah, I wouldn't have. I got him from the free first appearance thing in the box. So he's definitely not ranked. Oh, I can't believe she caught me. That's so rude. Hey, Sam, how's it going? Yeah, Sig-Zero level 1 Killmonger is not really what you're looking for in towers. Not a great matchup for him, is it? There we go. I'm just rusty with Mr. Knight. I really like the kit, but it's been a while and he's a little tricky. It's fine. Looking to introduce a friend to the MCU. Mind you, she's never seen a superhero movie other than Spider-Man 1. So in my opinion, Iron Man or Cap. Um, I think that depends on your friend. I think Cap is more earnest, and Iron Man might be like a more interesting modern movie in that sense. I think it's definitely funnier. So I think it comes down to like, do you think that your friend is more likely to like Steve or Tony? Because I think for a lot of people, the answer would be Iron Man. Maybe even most people. But I think there are some people who would be turned off by Tony's character, but really enjoy the fact that I think Captain America, the movie, is a really good encapsulation of the character, which means it's a really good encapsulation of like what superhero movies are supposed to be about in like the original sense, right? Like the genre has grown. But the OGs were about hope in a lot of ways. Yeah, I agree with you, Sam, but I also think that like early Steve is cornier than Tony, right? And I don't mean that as shade at all. I think I'm corny, but like, yeah, everybody's different, you know? Right. So I think maybe I would, based on your response, if you think that she wouldn't mind Steve being corny, then do that. Whoops, that hurt. Good movie first, superhero movie second. I agree, but it's not really a modern style of movie, right? I mean, they understood the assignment, but in a lot of ways, it's like, it's a soldier movie, right? It's about like that kind of relatively uncomplicated heroism. And that appeals to some more than others. I very much like both movies, for the record. Um, I think that depends on how she responds to the early ones. Because like Thor 2, I think is incredibly skippable. It adds almost nothing. Iron Man 3, I think does add something. Like it's clearly the weakest of the Iron Man movies, but I don't think it's like terrible. I also would absolutely want the cliff notes of something like Quantum Mania or freaking Multiverse of Madness over being forced to actually watch that stupid thing. Going for Nebula. It happens, dude. I showed him Ant-Man 1 first. See, that's not bad, right? Like that's a goofy heist movie. And depending on the friend, that can absolutely be the right call. I think Ant-Man was one of the first movies that I got my dad into because I was like, well, yeah, it's a heist movie. You love heist movies. Whoops, that hurt. And also, it has Michael Douglas, and you love Michael Douglas. Both of which were true. Thor 4 and Multiverse of Madness are very, very good. I also really didn't like Quantumania, but not for a lot of the reasons that other people didn't, it feels like. Like, that was a weird one because people were complaining about certain parts of the movie that just didn't bother me at all, right? Like, sometimes a movie is just bad for the reasons it's bad. You don't have to make up additional ones. Hey, Hogan, how's it going, dude? That was not ideal Shang-Chi play. Iron Man 3 furthered Tony's arc at least, even if it did it in a somewhat suboptimal way. Gee, basically nothing else. Yeah. Thor 2 does accomplish exactly nothing. I agree. I mean, in some ways, Thor 2 accomplishes worse than nothing. Because it wastes some interesting characters. Nice, Hogan, that's awesome. Was Quantumania that bad? Quantumania was very bad. But in my opinion, like, people complained about some of the goofy non-logic of it. It was like it's just very clear that the world building as provided to you by the characters is incorrect. You just have to accept that. You cannot go into Quantumania and be angry that people take off their helmets when they're smaller than molecules. It's stupid, but like, what are we doing here? Clearly, the rules are not the rules. You know that going in. My problem with Quantumania was that it was just chock full of some of my least favorite writing tropes, including one of the worst instances of there's no time to explain I have ever seen, because the character said there's no time to explain as they were flying somewhere that definitely took them like 30 minutes. That's like, quick, there's no time to explain. And then you hop in your car and you like drive half an hour into town. What are you doing while driving? There's no time to explain. Now let me turn on Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like, what? Accomplish getting people to spend money. See, but I think that that is quite short-sighted. Because if you get people to spend money, but you are getting them to spend money on something so bad that it leads to people writing articles about superhero fatigue, and you make them less likely to spend money on future movies that actually are decent, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot. If Moondragon had Pavita Prabhakar's medium 1, she would be so incredibly strong. No, I love Earth, Wind, and Fire Cypher. That was kind of the joke, right? It was like, hold on, it's more important for me to turn on my driving music than actually tell you something critical to the plot. Nice, Dax. Hitmonkey hits like a truck. Thor 2 has some payoff in Endgame. Yeah, and it like lets you reference, or and they let it lets that one Deadpool and Wolverine scene reference it, right? Like it's not literally useless because it's pretty difficult to, or it's not that it literally does nothing, because it's pretty difficult for a 2-hour movie to literally do nothing, especially when you have that many good actors in it. But I still say that on net, I feel like it accomplished less than nothing because of what it wasted. See, the MODOK and Quantum Mania didn't even bother me that much. Like, I didn't like it. It's not the choice I would have made. But it was whatever. That'll only be excusable. Oh, okay. I see what Cyber was responding to. Yeah, I got you too. All right, I need 19 more floors. Is he worth a rank 3? Yeah, A2 Hitmonkey is definitely worth a rank 3. Or, oh, sorry, single Ascension. I still think so. Like, it kind of depends on who else you have. But my guess is if rank 3 is still something that is relatively precious to you, then Hitmonkey is going to put in work for you. Yeah, then I think Hitmonkey will probably immediately become one of your highest damage dealers. Yeah, I think Malekith has to be Mystic. I agree. Like, both because I think he leans Mystic, and because I think any Cosmic who can be Mystic should be for game balance reasons. I would have made so much more progress on my ult if I didn't forget it existed. Same, but like I'm also completely at peace with that because if my ult starts feeling like a job, I've done something wrong. I just bring it back every once in a while to test things out. I really thought he was dead. I like stopped playing on that heavy. I was like, cool, that killed Rocket. And then he threw a special one, and I was so unprepared. Elden Ring Malekith? Okay. I don't know Elden Ring Malekith yet. For one thing, EI, not IE, in at least that case. Um, but no, Comics Malekith I think is definitely Mystic. Who has an armor break? Who has a repeatable armor break? Any of you? Do I have a Korg? No. I guess I can try her special 3. Just get to it and see if it kills. Alright, let's see if I actually have to level these guys. I mainly know Comics Malekith from, I hate the way her counter evade works. Why is that not better? I mainly know Comics Malekith from the Jane Foster run, because I read a bit of that. And that one was interesting. I need to finish that someday. Oh, I really should have picked a villain, or a hero. Okay, we may not even need the special 3 here, we'll see. Cool, that'll work. I know. I swear to God, Reed. Okay, please be enough, or I will be a little bit annoyed. Yeah, that's plenty. I honestly have no idea, Warrior. I wasn't in that room. Next time Honeydew's around, you could ask her, but she may not know either. Hey, Jonathan. Yeah, I do that sometimes with him, but like, I don't know. Sometimes the unstoppable intercepts feel good enough. I don't feel like I need to do that. Oh, I was hoping that would hit him. Oh, that power drain's gonna suck. Alright. That was very dumb. And now I can't. Okay. That was a really dumb way to lose a key. That last hit critting might have done it, but I should not have futzed with the special 2. Whoop, that was done. Alright. Throw it. But what are these heavies out of nowhere for? I saw you say that, Cyber, and that made me sad. I get it. It's tough. Yeah, the walk up into heavy was the one that tilted me. Yeah, like literally counting aloud can absolutely help with speedsters. The thing for me is I try and I think part of it is it's easier for me because I'm already a spam tapper for lights. Like I do swipe da 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 swipe. But the way I know how to do my last swipe is the same way I know how to do speedster animations. I am watching for the previous hit to land. Okay, Ben, stop it. This is your last chance. I told you yesterday. Hey, cream cheese, how's it going, dude? But like, I wait for the hit before to land, and in the case of a speedster, that means we're waiting for the last hit to land. So the second hit of the medium, you wait for that to land, you immediately tap the light, like that kind of thing. I don't know, Jess. Or Jest. I know they're working on it, but I'm not sure exactly how much time that's going to take. Yes, the combo tracker is huge. You know what? I'm good. All right. There we go. Yeah, I think I've told y'all before. I left the combo tracker on at first as an experiment, and then because people said it helped them follow what I was doing on stream, and then because it made it easier for me to explain things in like war videos, and then I just got used to it, and I don't ever want to be without it. That was rude. Take care, chicks. Have a good one, dude. I probably will stream a bit tomorrow in the morning, but we'll see how tired I am. Whoops, that was very slow. Okay, I guess. Oh, no, wait, we got there. Cool. Alright, I'm gonna be done with skill for a minute, though, although that is my best class. Yeah, like I said on the last stream, dude, North Star has been one of my podiums or a close contender basically every Alliance Coliseum that's launched. He's so good. Real quick, how close am I to my next? Okay, a very long way. That's fine. Let's do Cosmic. Oh, that's a big floor. If I ranked two 7-star or two 6-stars, I could skip it. But also it's really good for these objectives, so I probably shouldn't. Okay. You're clearly pretty decent to get 30 bars on Corvus. I'm pretty sure that's higher than my North Star score so far. I mean, a fair amount of that fight is, honestly, some AI luck, but still, you don't get 30 by accident. Yeah, I'm not surprised by Jonathan's response there. I think my best North Star run was like 24, 25 yesterday. That's fine. No, it's the first hit of each light and medium. But after the very first one, um, the Coliseum timer was changed to pause the timer during the non-initial hits of each one. So, like, the first hit of his medium will count towards the prompt, and the second hit of his medium will pause the timer. And then the first hit of his light will count for the prompt, and the next two hits of his light will pause the timer, and so on and so forth. So it's pretty much the same as everybody else. Yeah, I've always liked Venompool. He's definitely less important now. He's like, he doesn't scale high enough to be impressive in long form content, but is also too slow for short form, and his utility, while good, is not like important enough for war anymore. So I don't think it's an accident that he's fallen off. But I've always liked him. I've said this before, but in many ways, the design for offensive Serpent was what if Heimdall plus Venompool? Hey, John, how's it going, dude? Plus, let's be real. Venompool with the relic is overtuned in a way that Venompool just isn't. Yeah, the regen is really silly. Yes, Serpent was mine. Yeah, Venompool was my go-to for AQ for a very, very long time. And a large part of it was that sustain. Ouch. These high deficit matchups are so funny. I should be able to skip this one. I think we're far enough down on Cosmic that I will. Save us some time. Please hold. Nice. Skipped 4. Dragon Man? That's cool. Dragon Man's is a neat kid. How I would love to start over on a Thor kit. Just completely from the beginning. Armor breaks? Maybe. Furies? Probably. But just fully from nothing. It'd be fun. There are a few bad ones. Not a lot, but a few. Like, Drax's DPS is okay, so I'm not going to include him, even though, like, he's not particularly useful now, but, like, Groot is bad. Iron Patriot is bad. There's a very, very small number of truly bad ones, but it is, like, literally single digits. So I do mostly agree with you. And I also agree that it's very interesting just how far the game has come. Thanks for the follow, Cheese. I mean, you say that, Jonathan, and I understand the point you're making. But I don't fully agree. um, there's a few things going on there, right? Like, one, 2021 had characters like Shang-Chi, right? Wasn't that, I think that was Ibon, maybe? When was Spam? Spam was 2020. No, 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 no. Like, Herc was 2021. Kitty was 2021. Apocalypse was 2020. Tigra was 2020. Guardian was 2020. Like, I think the power creep since those days has been overstated. But I also separately would like to point out 5 years or 6 years, as we're talking about, is longer than not even average, is longer than like the 70th percentile lifespan for a game like this. So, like, it may feel like a relatively short amount of time to you as a human whose life expectancy is measured in decades. But for a mobile game, that is incredibly good pacing on our part. I did get Black Panther Ascended, yeah. He's rank 5A1 on my main. I agree with that, Jonathan, but I don't consider that power creep. That's just like our meta planning is leaps and bounds better than it used to be. And I should be honest that that is me patting myself on the back a little bit because I am involved in that process. I'm not in charge of it, but I'm pretty heavily involved in it. But yeah, we're just being very, very intentional these days. Kabam Dev confirms everyone is supposed to be mid. Sorry, I've just seen some nonsense lately. Whoops, wrong button. And he kicked my dog. I feel so bad when I kick dogs accidentally. We could skip this one, but I'm gonna fight it just because I want to be done with this for a little bit. Or with this class, I should say. I am curious what this like quick run through the objectives ends up getting me in terms of radiance, though. Carnage is such an interesting old kit. Wait, hold on. Before I get too much further, am I... How's my Mysterium? Okay, yeah, it stopped warning me because I hit the end. 1 second. The Mysterium store is actually good enough for me, and especially on this account, that I really need to be spending it. That was weird. I don't know why it stopped at 15. 5K. Hey, baby. That's good for now. Yeah, like this account gets basically no radiance, so literally anything I can get is cool. That would be very scary, Jonathan. All right, science and beauty. Sorry, 1 second. All right, we got any other pre-fight people? No. Cool. I'm so out of practice with Nefaria. Ain't getting any more now. It'd be fun to update thing a little bit for offensive use. Not a lot. He serves his purpose, but a little bit. Yeah, and when I say something for offense, I explicitly do not mean the champion synergy in base kit. I hate that thing. I mean, like an actual kit. In my opinion, those are like the least interesting synergies, which I know are some of the most popular ones, but the ones that just say, and now you get 7 million attack rating. Cool, that's not a kit. Cute, Jude. What a frustrating champion. Cool, but frustrating. I don't know why I'm dashing back with her. Like that means something. I forgot Maker cheats a little bit with hit stun. Ouch. It's the general discussion around updating trophy champs. It's complicated. And I am not an authority on it, but I will try to. Like, they're competing opinions. Thanks for the follow, Chaos. One of the problems is if you update them. Yeah, it's like it's work going towards champions for a small number of people, but that's not necessarily a problem, right? You can put work towards champions that only some people have if it's going to make you money, right? But the way trophy champions tend to work is that they're handed out as collectibles, and then they're not actually monetized when they're good, right? Like, this actually is part of why we ended up doing Maestro for Necropolis. Because if we had done like a rework of Kang and people had an ownable Kang and then we run into like either their Kang doesn't get updated or they all already have a 7-star Kang, right? Now, the way that you get around that is that you try and time the buff, at least in my opinion. The way you get around that is you try and time the buff for the first time that character is released at that rarity. Like if we had buffed Kang or Thanos before the first time they showed up in Banquet Crystals, before the first time they showed up in Banquet Rewards, I think that would have worked. And then that means that going forward, in my opinion, it probably doesn't make sense to offer Ascension for someone like Kang or Thanos until we buff them. Now, for all I know, we might offer Ascension for Kang or Thanos this year because people don't always agree with me. But that's what I hope happens, is that we let it go for a little bit and then we actually update some of them and then we put it in Banquet where it's actually exciting again. Is that a play in champs like Punisher? Kind of, but it depends on what you mean by that. Punisher definitely has some overlap with this discussion because he's a trophy champion that was in Banquet at this point. But before that, he was super exclusive, but like he wasn't exclusive in a way that the people who had him were most likely to be people who already spend a lot. Like that's the weird thing with Kang and Thanos. If you're going to try and monetize them, the people most likely to spend probably just have them sitting on a shelf already. Punisher was exclusive, but in a completely random way. And pretty much everyone I knew who had a Punisher before the rework, anecdotally, spent almost nothing because they were just in Arena all the time. So he was actually a really easy champ to monetize in that way. Okay, we could definitely skip this one, but it will also be our last objective, so I'm going to do it. Deadpool's a weird one. Deadpool's a very weird one. Because he's a trophy, 100%. And he is bad, 100%. Like, he doesn't have a kit. But he has one ability that is completely broken that if you then slap that ability on an actual kit that can do things is a problem. And that makes him simultaneously a terrible champion and a champion that would be kind of difficult to buff because you would potentially be taking away something to do it right from a bunch of collectors. There is no all the way in towers, by the way. Everyone runs into a wall. That's the point. So just go as far as you can. And don't stress, there's always next month. I mean, yeah, you should try to go to as far as you can reach in each class. Absolutely. I'm glad you like it, Cyber. I honestly thought it was kind of weird, but it is a way to shrink the delta. Excuse me. You jerk. You would be wrong in that, Jonathan. You would be very wrong. Like, would it be silly to be mad that his regen got changed? Yes. But there are definitely people using it for that. Okay. We should be done with science now. One class to go. Oh my god, and so many towers. Milestones. I just saw that 63. Oh, crud, we need 2 more. Okay, I miscounted. 1 second. Oof. Yeah, that doesn't sound fun, Cyber. I'm gonna have so many rank ups to do on this account, which I said after Ascension, and then I just didn't do them, but maybe this time. So many selectors. I'm glad there are at least decent chunks of them, but lord. Did I already have Warlock? Yes. I'm kind of regretting starting this, but I have now. This is a lot of good stuff. I could do without how small these relic things are, though. Okay. It slowed down. If I had started this earlier, I could probably actually get the Warlock, but I think that would require me doing the Challenge Tower, and that probably requires me not getting a lot of sleep, which just isn't worth it for the alt. This is a lot of good stuff. Alright, let's go do that last tower. Oh, I need to be canceled. Jeez. Forgotten how to play this guy. Oh, I really thought he'd come at us. Alright, well. I love Gene's victory pose. So good. It is really funny how slow Onslaught feels in here. Kind of love it. Whoop. Oh. Very unfortunate to cancel out of my own medium like that. I forgot this account got a pull of that box. Completely forgot I had an Ascended Dust. Would have been the first pull, too. Alright, regen this, buddy. Again, could skip. Want the milestones. Okay, maybe I should have charged one more prowess, but that's fine. Take care, Jude. Have a good one. Crit, maybe? It's fine. And how far off are we? Oh, no, wait. We do need two more. Okay. We need 2 more in science, 14 more in mutants. How many are in this? 10? Okay. And I'm just going to do these 2 and not populate anyone else because I want to stop at that point. No strong feelings, Loxer. Does Psylocke have a non-contact attack? Oh, I had 0 power. So she was reducing. I don't know that I've ever seen her fail the first parry of the fight, but thinking about it, it makes sense. Kind of shocking I haven't seen that more. Look at that. We actually got something approximating a rotation this time. Black Panther, once he throws a special 1, has his mode up where he reduces defensive ability accuracy by 50%. He shouldn't before that, unless you're specifically talking about running recoil, in which case he has a 10% chance to fail the first parry of the fight because everybody in towers is max sig, and that means that he is reducing your ability accuracy by 10% while he's hitting you for that 1 bleed. And Psylocke I get, I don't remember ever running into it, which is weird. Alright, we're going to the special 2 this time. You can see the lower sig on this Storm X relative to my main. Which is good. That means I balanced it decently. All right, that was 4. I need 10 more. I'm assuming you're talking about Mr. Fantastic. Yeah. I appreciate the clarification. And I'm assuming if you said that you're 100% sure that you had updated, because this is a reminder, like whoops, that was very slow on my part. The build being available doesn't automatically update the code. You do have to actually download the new client. Also worth noting, you do have to have the grit active. And I'm not saying you didn't, it just wasn't in your description, so I'm not 100% sure, so I'm clarifying that part too. Whoops. For the record, if you're not sure what client you're on, you can tell by the loading screen. If you have last month's loading screen, then you also have last month's code. That's my phone. Nothing has been announced, Chief. Yeah, no, I get it. It was not on the stream. 3 more fights. Man, I hate when they dex that first hit, but I was a little greedy. All right, 2 more. I think I'll just finish this one. Excuse me. You know, in towers specifically, it probably makes sense to use the lightning pre-fight for Storm. Because it's not like you need the survivability. And the extra damage it provides is real. I'm going to test that. Shocks are pretty big for not really having an advantage. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Are you not supposed to always turn on the lightning pre-fight? No, not in my opinion. If you're in battlegrounds, or if you're the kind of cool person who uses her in war, I think the glancing is really important. And the glancing is only in ice. There is more damage in shock, but you give up a lot of survivability for it. Nice. Spiral. Very cool. Shocker and Carolina and Ascended Adam. Okay, this is a good day for the alt. This was worth it. That was very worth it. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, didn't unlock any more towers. Which is kind of unfortunate. It is what it is. A lot of stuff to open. I'm not going to bore y'all with that. I'm going to see if there's anything big here. Not at the moment. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. First time dupe on Jean is excellent. Okay. I have a lot of stuff to spend, but I'm gonna go to bed and commit to actually doing some upkeep here anyway. or later. I think if I do anything tomorrow, it will be this. Because this will be tough for me, but I think it's theoretically possible. But for now, I'm going to head to bed. So thank you, everybody, for hanging out. I will catch y'all soon.